You are listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Melbourne to Baltimore, from London to Piraeus. We are 4 Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you'll never lose the latest updates and stories of the team you love. This is our team, our city, and our land. Man Aoniro Trello. You're listening to the Gate 7 International Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gate 7 International Podcast /show / whatever the hell this is. But anyway, we just finished watching Atalanta Olympiacos in the Bergamo. And yeah, that went better than I thought. But the way it went was a bit heartbreaking. I don't know. Well, I have our friend Kostas Lianos here to talk about it, to get into all of the problems, whatever happened. It's late in Greece. I'm sorry this is late. I got trapped, when you're watching the game with people and then you're just getting into the game ends and everyone talks and blah, 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 well, that happened tonight. I couldn't escape, but it was okay. It was a good conversation. We were talking about Olympiacos' biggest losses away in Europe and that we didn't suffer one of those tonight. So that was a fun conversation, especially after losing as well. But, tonight I think went better than anyone could have expected. I see the comment all the way from Manolis right away saying we underestimated ourselves. I don't know, man. I really think with what we've seen this season, I think we gave ourselves a fair estimate. I just think tonight things came off in the first half for Olympiacos. It was such a fast game. It was a very tense game, end to end. I was very surprised. Costa, I don't know if you agree with me, but it was the first 45 minutes was fantastic football to watch. Like the best Olympiacos game I think I've watched all season, like football-wise. Like if you were just a random guy and you're in the pub and you see Olympiacos Atalanta and you're like, oh, wow, this was a decent game of football. I don't know if you would agree, but I thought it was a fantastic game of football, like by both sides in the first 45 minutes at least.
Well, let's take it from the top. Atalanta used their usual 3-4-2-1 formation with a lot of key absences. Duvan Zapata wasn't there. Josip Ilicic obviously wasn't there. They started with Musso in goal, Toloi, Demiral, and Zim City in defense, Meile and Petzela at wingback, Deron and Pessina teaming up in midfield, Malinovsky and Pasalic playing behind Muriel, who led the attack. And Olympiacos started with a 3-4-3 that led to quite a few heart attacks within the Olympiacos community.
Yeah, a shock formation, I think, for all.
A shock formation, the least successful formation of the season, with Thomas Vatsilik in goal, Papsise, Kostas Manolas, Sokratis Papastathopoulos teaming up in defense, Lala and Reabchuk, the legendary wingbacks, Agipu Kamara and Mvila in midfield, Masura Sonyekuru on the wings, and Tiquinho leading the attack. I gotta agree with you. Out of all the games we've seen Olympiacos this season, in my opinion, I haven't seen all of the games, but you gotta keep things into perspective. You're playing Atalanta right now. It's very different than playing Asteras Tripolis, extremely different. That is the only time I noticed the 3-4-3 formation actually paying dividends in this case. The lines were close together. The pressure, I'll tell you what, we had Georgios Tsanakas the other day, Serie A expert from Greece, who knows everything there is about Atalanta, and he told us one thing. The defensive trio of Atalanta are very bad with the ball on their feet, as we saw tonight. But it's not a good idea to press high up because they link so well with midfield that they build up and they find the spaces that you've left behind, and they put together such a lethal counterattack they can kill you within a few minutes. Olympiacos did not listen to Georgios Tsanakas' advice, but still didn't leave any spaces open in the back. Even when Atalanta managed to get an attack going, the back three of Olympiacos would link perfectly with the two midfielders and Reabchuk as well as Lala when they ran back, and there were no spaces in there. What really killed Olympiacos today were the set pieces. And it's very ironic because Georgios Karaiskakis told us that Atalanta struggle when they defend in set pieces. And it was the other way around tonight.
It was.
Olympiacos,
I also
once
think someone can correct us, but I think they're rated as one of the worst attacking set piece teams in Italy. Like, is that
yes,
correct? Did
indeed.
someone say that? Yeah.
I don't.
They
I
didn't
don't
look
have
good. God damn it! Did they? Jesus, those cedres from the corners were fantastic.
the crosses.
I was watching it with Greek crowd. Like, what would you expect? And someone said, "Κάθε φάση είναι ευκαιρία." Like, you know what I mean? Like every single corner was a chance. Like Malinovsky as well as Muriel were sending these balls in so damn fine. Like, well done. And the attackers were getting on them. I was sitting there and I was just like, Jesus, like this was incredible to watch. Like to think that they're one of the worst teams at set pieces, I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't know.
To be fair, I mean, this is Atalanta. The way Atalanta played, the way we expected Atalanta to play, Olympiacos handled it very well. Really, the back three was rock solid, and that's going to be an
It was
issue
very
because
good.
we won't have that back three in the return. Like Sokratis Papastathopoulos has been suspended. I hope there's
No,
not going to be a
really.
back three. I hope there's not going to be a back because of the yellow card. I hope there's not going
No,
to
I
be a
didn't
back.
see that.
I
Oh
hope there's not going
shit.
to be a back three in the Karaiskakis game because that means Ba comes on. So I would imagine probably a 4-3-3 would be in the works for that game.
Yeah.
But really, in terms of how Olympiacos played, it worked. That system worked. There were counterattacks. The pressure was paying off without Atalanta getting on the counterattack and causing trouble in the counterattack. I don't. Obviously, Olympiacos started this as the underdogs. We knew this from the get-go. Atalanta were the favorites, but we just realized tonight that they're not. They're favorites, but not by much. Surely, the lack of the away goal makes it even harder for Olympiacos. I mean, if this was last year, we'd be talking about a very positive result, all things considered, because you're going to the Karaiskakis now. It's going to be fiery. It's going to be passionate. Olympiacos can get a goal, and then they can just if they keep the lines together, they can throw them out. But now, even if Olympiacos do get a goal, they're still going to have to keep fighting because
Yeah.
if it goes to
Atalanta will score
stoppage,
in the Karaiskakis though. Like I think it's impossible to hold the 0 with this team. Like the only thing I will say, I believe Luis Muriel
Muriel.
was injured at halftime. I think the way he was playing, I don't think you take him off. Like, and I don't know if you saw, but one corner in the first half, he was grabbing his left hamstring, I want to say. And that's something like I do when I play football when I'm trying to like make a fake injury, like, oh, I missed the goal. Let me grab the leg. But like he's a real footballer and it looks more serious. So I don't know. I was reading some messages and some people were saying maybe he's injured, blah blah blah. I don't know. To be honest with you, the guy who came in, the new signing from Sassuolo, I think it was Bonga. Is that his name? Bonga?
It was basically I don't know what happened with Luis Muriel, but the two substitutions Gianpiero Gasperini made in Jeremy Boga, who's the guy you're
Fantastic.
looking for, and Toin Cope
Fantastic.
Miners, they really paid
Fantastic.
off. So I'm not too sure if he was injured. I think Gasperini knew what he was doing.
But this guy who came on, I think he
Boga.
wears a number 10. Yeah. I think Manolas went shoulder to shoulder with him, and you typically would see a player fall for foul. Just bounces off him, gets the ball on the right, and put that shot onto Vaclik where he made the nice save to party it away. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, like this is a player you don't see very often. Like, what a beautiful player to do something like I think when you're an Olympiacos fan, like we are, when you watch so many games, Olympiacos, Asteras, Tripolis, Olympiacos, even AEK, Olympiacos, PAOK, you kind of forget beautiful football when you watch Olympiacos sometimes. Like, that's not to degrade our football, say we're a bad team, but tonight you were watching a team that knows how to play football, and you were just, I don't know about you, but I was sitting in the back of my seat. I was like, this is fantastic to watch, like the passes were hard and fast. They knew exactly what they were doing. There was no like, we're passing back, we're holding possession. Like Greek teams do this all the time when they're playing like passing just a pass. Every single pass Atalanta makes, and okay, they don't come off every time, were fast, direct, and with purpose. And it was just, it's a team you watch and you're like, wow, I see why any Italian you'll speak to who watches Serie A, come on, it's like fantastic football we watched tonight. I will say that. Olympiacos did well to match it, but Olympiacos and Pedro Martins, I think, knew this football would be played, but they also took advantage of it. I think there were clear openings at the back. You talked about it, and Georgios talked about it in our pregame about the pressing. Maybe it's not a good idea, but you could say that mosquito
We got
come to get you.
mosquitoes. We got mosquitoes here.
but I don't know. I thought, okay, Olympiacos gave good pressure, and that's something I want to talk to when Adi comes on, and maybe he's gonna come on in 1 second, Yana Dume. But I thought Olympiacos gave a good press today for the first 30 to 45 minutes, and I'm interested to see because Adi has that press graphic. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those. He does.
Let's have
But
like a heat graph.
Olympiacos pressed very well tonight, like better. I would say I'm really struggling because I want to say they pressed really good tonight, but they really pressed really good until the 45th minute, I want to say. And then that second half, like, you know what I mean? It was different. And I don't know, Olympiacos played the best game they could in the first 45 minutes. And I'll throw this to you before I want to start a big thing. I think Pedro Martins has done a fantastic job with Olympiacos, but this is where he stops him from reaching the high-end coaches of Olympiacos. That killer sub, we needed a sub there at the 50th minute, the 55th minute. You could just feel the goal was coming, Costa. You know what I mean? Like, and Pedro Martins didn't do it until we conceded the 2 goals, and
All
you were just kind
managers.
of
Yeah,
you were just kind of like, come on, just make that sub in the 60th minute. We need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And he
mean, all
didn't
I'm
do it.
gonna,
And
if I may add on the whole manager thing, I mean,
go,
Pedro
go.
Martins is officially one of the most legendary managers Olympiacos have ever
Of
had. And if you look
course.
at all the other previous legendary managers they've had, like Dusan Bajevic and Ernesto Valverde, they also had pet peeves. Dusan Bajevic and Ernesto Valverde were known as quite a couple of bottlers. Dusan Bajevic bottled the game with Juventus in 1999 at the OACA. He bottled the Liverpool game at Anfield, and Ernesto Valverde, he bottled that game with what was their name? Metalist. Metalist was their name? Metalist, the one that eliminated Olympiacos to the
Ari, what
Europa
was the
League.
name? Metalist?
Metalis Kharkiv. Why'd you bring that up, man? I come in here, I
Anyways.
got to bring up bad
Because
memories.
he insinuated that Pedro Martins is not going to be in the upper echelon of Olympiacos managers, and I had to correct that.
Yeah, but I will say, I'm not blaming Pedro Martins. I think he set up. I freaking told all of you how important Henry Onyekuru would be in these games. I even said, I think I said something like Olympiacos will go through if Henry Onyekuru plays well. Like, I think he's that important, and I still will repeat that. If Olympiacos is going to go through with Atalanta, Henry Onyekuru will be part of Procracy. In my opinion, I think Olympiacos does not have a player like this, and like, I know he's shit, I know he's not good, but he can run and he can dribble, and sometimes he can give an easy pass. And you know what? God damn it, I didn't need to see this right now. Hassan,
It's Kuka, not Coca.
Kuka. It's Coca-Cola with Greek spelling. Come on, who wrote this, man? Come on, Coca-Cola.
It's Kuka.
No, but
and nobody called him that in Greece ever, and that's his
Yeah,
nickname. Everybody calls him like that, except in Greece.
Hassan, but
For the audio guys, Ahmed Hassan left us a little comment. Needed me in that last minute free kick? Question mark. Love it.
Shit.
So Ari,
someone
what
said,
the hell?
yeah.
What did you make of this?
Ari, I was beating a dead horse. I think I go.
For me, in the first half, I saw a lot of what I expected. Well, the game ended how I expected. I said it was going to be a 2-1 loss. It
Me
was a
too.
little bit different context. I thought we were going to get a wonder strike from Agibu Kamara. It came from Tiquinho instead. The first half, again, I saw what I liked. I thought there were things we did well. It was a nice little mid block. And then when we had numbers forward, we actually pressed. And I thought we did it pretty well. We completely jumbled up what they tried to do. But then the problem was the adjustment that they made in the second half was we didn't really have an answer. And it seemed to me like we immediately went to Martins's super pessimistic, you know what? We've got the 1-0. Let's just hold this. And I hate that. I really do. And that's what it felt like we saw. Some of it was they just came out with a much more aggressive approach and mentality. But I also saw it wasn't a much of a mid block anymore. It was a low block. People were sitting deeper. We were sitting back. And I hate that. I said it with Mike. I brought it up to him, and I said it in previous episodes leading up to this. My biggest concern with, especially if we play the 3-4-3, is that at some point I'm worried we're going to sit too deep and invite pressure, because if we do that, we are just going to get hit after hit after hit against us, and we're going to concede. And that's exactly what happened today. We played against one of the crappiest teams in Serie A when it comes to set pieces, and we conceded double what they've had already this season for set pieces. It's not good. It's not a good look. So I don't know. Look, I'm not upset overall. This is about what I expected, but it's just like when we were performing you're up 1-0. You're disappointed to see it kind of just fall away from you in the manner that it did, and a little too slow to start with the subs. I was at 8 minutes into the second half. I was like, guys, this is not going well. Something needs to change because we don't have an answer for this. Then it's 10 minutes. Oh God. You know what I mean? Then we start getting to that 15-minute mark right before the goal. And I'm like, guys, this is getting worse and worse and worse. First goal. All right. After that first goal, I'm making some changes because it's not working. He waited. And then we copped a second goal. And then that's when the changes came. And I hate this. This has been like all season, especially in Europe. It's too slow. It's way
All
too slow to react.
Martins, always with Martins, it's always been like this. The changes are always slow. I'll put that out there. Like, I think Pedro Martins is such a good manager, but this is really a big flaw of his. I really think sometimes he's got the little tablet. I don't know what the little tablet shows, because the little tablet on my screen, which I'm watching, is like, make a change now. And I don't know. I think the game. I think you're exactly right, Adi. That's in the first 30 minutes. The game was so open. The first 45 minutes, and Atalanta could have scored just as much as Olympiacos could score. If Henry Onyekuru can play football and Oleg Reabchuk can pass a football, like, Olympiacos could have scored another goal. Like, you know what I mean? So
they could have.
I don't know, but
one with
it was
Onyekuru
clear
and one
by
with
55. Gasperini watched the first 45 minutes and said,
Yep.
okay, this and this needs to be done, and we can change this game and go win it. And that's exactly what he did. Like, that's what a good manager sees. Pedro Martin said it should have thought, okay, the first 45 minutes were good. We're going to keep as we set up. 55 minutes hit, 60 minutes hits, and he goes, okay, Gasperini has made subs. Things are not working for us. We need to change the game plan. And he didn't do it. So I don't know. I think that is a flaw of Pedro Martins, responding to other managers' changes, I think, is difficult for him. But
It is.
I'm not going to complain tonight about Martins, so.
Well, personally, I get what you're saying, but after the 2-1, after Jim City's second goal, I think Martins approached the game in a correct manner, because it was extremely important not to push it too much in the attack.
Yep.
Because
Yeah,
if
the third was
went
game.
that'd be RIP, right? That'd be game, set, match. That'd be over right there. Another thing, though, I do need to say is that I am a bit disappointed with that Onyekuru shot. That not only did he miss, he didn't even come close to the net.
Left foot. Yeah, that was bad.
There was the other incident where Madi Camara passed the ball to Agibu and he didn't get a good touch. Those two moments were very critical into this match, and Atalanta were also pretty lucky not to concede there. That's something Olympiacos don't need to work on. Olympiacos cannot waste chances at the Karaiskakis, and we had Georgios Tsanakas. I keep mentioning all the time. I hope that's the last time I'm going to mention, because it's getting weird mentioning him all the time. But he is a brilliant journalist, and I consider him a Serie A expert. He did tell us, and he made it clear that the real battle begins now. Atalanta flourish away, because that's where the opponent opens up. That's where they attack. And now Olympiacos have to attack. They need to score. And if they're not careful in keeping the lines together, like they did tonight, in Bergamo, they did a great job keeping the lines together at open play. If they fail to replicate that, Atalanta not only can score a goal at the Karaiskakis, they can rip Olympiacos apart. Now the real fight begins. The Karaiskakis is not going to be easier. It's going to be actually a tougher game.
Yeah, but at least one thing that I will take that a little bit of positive kind of going into this game in Greece is that we really saw, and I think Yorgos said it when you guys talked to him, and Mike said the same thing when I talked to him from IFTV, is that there is an opportunity. The vulnerability is in the center backs, because Atalanta gets very aggressive to the point where they push bodies forward.
Yeah.
And that creates opportunities, because that's where the opportunity that Madi gave to Agibu came from. They had probably too many bodies pushed forward than they should have. And that gave that space there, that gave him that opportunity. We saw that in the first half too. So this isn't what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't an unbeatable task, right? This team has weaknesses. Not to say they're not a great team. They are an incredible team. And you saw when they were in stride and when they were playing their game, my God, it didn't look like we could do much about it. But they have vulnerabilities. And all in all, if we're taking the game as a whole, our defensive unit did pretty well. What annoyed me was like the zonal marking, we shit on it a lot, but it was okay most of the time. But there were just a lot of times where the communication broke down, and that's when we knew that something was going to happen.
The first corner, they just walked in. The second one was like clear mental lapse, but the first one was just like the system failed. Like I kept watching it, and I was like, is it Cisse not attacking the ball? Was it Onyekuru frozen? Like, and it was just like a gap, I think. I don't think was it who was to blame? Like, very difficult for me to decide. As I was telling Costa before you came on, Adi, like the balls they were whipping in on these corners was like gorgeous placement, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. Like location. I was watching this. I'm like, I haven't seen Olympiacos send such a nice corner in like 3 years. Like, what the hell? And Costa and I were talking about it. Atalanta supposedly like one of the worst teams in Serie A from set pieces. I'm just like, how the hell is this possible? Like with this guy Malenkovski and Muriel sending balls in, like, are you kidding me? It's incredible. And also I see this comment, we have Italians here tonight. I'm guessing this is like about defending, like one shot on target at 15, whatever.
Something about the referee as well, I think.
Yeah, surprisingly, but an Italian are like upset about a team defending. The irony doesn't pass me. Just an Italian actually like crying about another team defending and parking the bus. Like, can we just bring that up? Okay, sorry, mate.
But we also have another issue that we saw in tonight's game, and that is that Yorgos told us that Atalanta are also struggling when they defend set pieces.
Right.
Olympiacos didn't get a single corner kick. Olympiacos need to find a way to hit Atalanta's weakness.
Yeah.
I can only remember that set piece at the end with that. First of all, why did Ronnie Lopez come on instead of Valbuena? That's another question I have. It was useful, though, because the CBS commentator said that it's actually Ronnie Lopes, not Ronnie Lopez. The Portuguese pronunciation is Lopes.
Shut, really? Oh, that's news to everyone in the country. This is news to everyone in Greece. Like
everyone, So, anyways, Ronnie Lopes came on instead of Valbuena. He hit that free kick, didn't do anything. That's another thing, Olympiacos. They need to maintain the lines together. They need to find a way to attack and create dangers, but also find a way to create set pieces and take advantage of that. It was the other way around. It was the other way around. We knew they struggled defending set pieces, and instead they made Olympiacos look like they were desperate in set pieces, hopeless.
God.
Yep.
No, it's for sure. Go on,
Yeah, I
Adi.
got a special request from Fetano and actually a couple of DMs as well, asking
Go
me
on.
if I can make a little placement chart for corners, where all the corners went for Atalanta.
They were
So
so good. I don't know if they
yeah,
were in the same spot, blah blah blah, but like I sat there and every corner was a chance. Like
yep,
haven't seen that in so long in football. Like it was incredible. I really was impressed with the whole situation with Atalanta. And I told Costa as well, it would be really nice if you made one of those pressing graphics because I thought Olympiacos today pressed the first 45 minutes, first 30 minutes,
very
as you
well.
were talking about the blocks,
Yep,
extremely well, like the best almost
yep,
I've seen all season.
yeah.
And it just fell off. It was kind of like by the second half, it's like they started shitting their pants. Like we're 1-0 up in the Bergamo. Like, what the hell is
Yeah.
going on? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and that's the
yeah.
problem. Like you saw in the first half, right? For the most part, right? When Atalanta had the ball, we would sit kind of in around that midfield area and that the circle, right? And then when they got to the circle with the ball, that's when we started to move forward. Or if we had numbers forward and the ball was at the goalkeeper, one of the defenders, we went for it. And that's what you like to see. That's what old Olympiacos did under Martins in the first 2 seasons. We pressed like that. Now, in the second half, it was just clear as day. Clear because you could see like all of a sudden we weren't pressuring them even like at midfield. We were letting them come in with the ball and just sitting deep, trying to cover the wings, not really doing so hot with that. And look, there's two things I can tell you when you're on the field, like when a press starts to break down, sometimes if game flow, like depending on how game flow is, and another team is just moving the ball well, sometimes it doesn't work. And your first instinct is to just, okay, let's get back, let's get shape. And then like if you can get a couple things, then you can get the press back. But the fact that I never saw us like really, especially in the first like 20 minutes of the second half, like getting forward ever, it to me that was indicative of this is the game plan. We're sitting deep and we're holding this 1-0 lead. And
Mm.
that's what concerned me a little bit because you do get a little bit of that. Like sometimes it's like this is the game plan, but it doesn't go well. So instinctually you start to do things and act more negatively on the field. That's just how it is. But
Yeah.
at the very least, if there is some game plan to try and press, you should see that happening. And we didn't. And it's a shame.
Mm.
But I will say this also, like it is so tough. Like you have to be in incredible physical shape to really
I was
keep a
gonna
press
say
up.
the,
So it
but not
sucks.
just
And
physically, Adi. The mental, like
yeah,
Olympiacos fails mentally in Europe a lot of times because I think in Greece,
yeah,
like you can take a vacation in your head sometimes. Like, okay, we're playing Ike, it's big game. Like, but like for 5 6 chances, I need to be full ready. But like other times in the game, you can just coast and you're safe. You know what I mean? And then you have these teams like Atalanta, they can't even coast with Venezia. You know what I mean?
nope,
Like every game is full, like full intensity. We could lose this game. We have to be on it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I don't know if the press and the running kind of is also a mental thing. Like it's just like we're not used to being this focused for 90
yeah.
minutes. And I really think that's a real thing for Olympiacos. And I don't know how anyone even gets over that. Like I don't know how you prepare for that. Like,
Well,
can you? I don't
it's
think so.
tough. It's tough. So, like what you're saying, right? Like this is something anybody that's played the game, right? Any of us that have played at a semi-competitive level know this, right? When you play against like worse teams, like there were plenty of teams that we played against that weren't of that quality. But when you continue to play against them, like think in your head, I don't need to make this run because these guys aren't that good. This is going to work. But then the problem is when you start playing against better teams, you build that habit, right? So then and you always think, well, when I play against better teams, I'll remember to do it. But when you build a habit, it creeps into these bigger games too. And then you're so used to not doing something that you just stop doing it even when you're supposed to. And that is a mental thing and that's really hard to train out of. The only thing you can do, I mean, I don't even know how to say that you can successfully train a player to get out of it because it's just so difficult. Like that player has to be motivated to want to do these things. And habits are really, really hard to break. I had bad habits And let me tell you, it took a lot for me to break some of them. I mean, Coach Yanni will tell you, if you speak to him again, that like he would rip into me with, like, there were some things that just took forever for me to break out of. And that was because I was playing against poorer competition. It's really difficult. And I know that we take this for granted a lot, but those type of things are really hard for us to get away from and get out of, especially if we start making them habits. Habits are hard to break. And in a league like Greece, where you can form really bad habits really easy as a team like Olympiacos and with players that Olympiacos has, it's only natural that they show themselves sometimes in Europe. So yeah, Lambro, you're 100% right. That is a huge thing to think of, and it's something that should be on everybody's minds.
And that's even more worrying considering that the away goal rule doesn't exist
Yeah.
anymore. And if it
But
did
I don't
exist
know if
right
that's
now,
if the away goal thing because Atalanta's gonna
it does
score
matter.
one, at least one. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
Like
it does matter because
Atalanta
right
and the
now,
Karaiskakis could score two, but we could score three. You know what I mean? Like I
right
just
now,
I think
Tiquinho's
it could
goal is
help.
like never happened. It's like Atalanta won 1-0. It's like Tiquinho's goal never happened, basically.
Yeah,
And it's important that you mention the mentality because if Olympiacos manage to score and then they manage to keep the lines together and they work harder on set pieces, and that doesn't work out for Atalanta either, they're still the better team. They still have more quality. They still have players with more experience at club level and international level. So if this game goes on extra time, they're the ones that are still the favorites. It's like they're getting a second opportunity. It's like saying, okay, they scored the away goal, but you know what? You're going to get more opportunities. Olympiacos, I don't think they can last that long. I don't think they can. We saw it with Ludogorets. It didn't go well. And Atalanta are a whole different ball game. And it's not physical condition that's going to do it. It's mentality. At this stage, it's mentality that does it. And I don't think Olympiacos have that much depth, that much character in this team. And there are still players, important players, who are still very mediocre. You got Henry Onyekuru, who can only help you up to a point with his pace. You got Kenny Lala and Ole Kreabchuk, who are at wing back, much more inferior than what we're used to, Marel Abdelawi and Kostas Tsimikas, and they have no competition. There's literally no, and Skarbovnik is not even on the European list. It's them two and Androutsos, and Kitsos. That's not competition, though. Which is something, obviously, that's another discussion, maybe another podcast episode. The fullback situation needs to be the first thing that will be resolved in the summer. First thing. I don't care if Agibu, Madi, and El Arabi all leave at the same time. The fullbacks are the most important part of the team that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. And Lambro, more onto your point about the away goals. I don't know if you remember, but when they first took the rule away, right, and they took away goals, I brought up. I went back into Europa League. I went into Champions League, and I looked at every game where the away goal rule came into play, and when it benefited teams that were top three versus everybody else. And this rule, the away goal rule, negatively affected teams from top three leagues more than anything else. So they were the ones hurt by this, and that's why they changed the rule. Now, Olympiacos, the away goal rule, while it was still in play, while we were in Europe the last 15 years, or I only did it under the Marinakis regime, it only affected us twice. Once it helped us, and once it hurt us. But under the Marinakis regime, we only benefited from the away goal rule once. Now, it's funny that the second it goes away, it bites us in the ass. So what can you say about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is something that has hurt the top three teams from top three leagues more often than not.
Yeah. I got a question, Nav. No, go ahead, Lambro.
No, I
have a question on a different subject. You go ahead.
I don't know. I think it's a whole. I don't know. Do you think the away goal will come back? I think it probably will. I think
hopefully.
The
first game doesn't matter. The first game doesn't matter.
The first game does not matter. Yeah, I was thinking of that. Yeah, as well.
It would make more sense to me if they scrapped the away goal rule and had one game on each round, like they do with the FA Cup and the EFL Cup at times.
Yeah.
What's the point of the first game? Money, obviously, but football wise, what's the point? It is ridiculous. I mean, let's face it. It's a nice little push for the top three leagues. I mean, Aris put together the stats, and I would advise and I would ask Aris to publish them one more time on our social media pages, which is why you should all subscribe, like, and follow us on social media as well.
That was a good one. Yeah.
But definitely, I think we should share it because, in my opinion, and as a sports journalist, I think it is an absolute shame and absolutely atrocious that the away goal rule doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you too. But the reason they got away from it, there was one calculation they made, right? They did a comparison over the course of the last like 30 years, right? To see how on average how many goals are scored when a team plays home versus how many goals a team scores when they play away. And in the last few years, they've seen that there's almost no difference between how many goals are scored home and away. And because of that, they said, well, there's no reason to have the away goal because we score the same number of goals home and away. That's literally the reason why they took it away. They tweeted it. They're like, average is like 1.1 at home and 0.9 away. There's no difference.
Yeah, right.
That's the average. And that's what they used. And that's when I decided to do that. Because like, this is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. There's a real reason why they do it, but of course they just pawn it off on that. A lazy reason. And it's awful. Because if you get more specific and get context out of it, you see that, oh, no. There are teams that are more affected by it, and it's the teams in the top three leagues. Yeah. So it's as plain and simple as that.
I would like to ask you, I'd like to back up on the mentality issue. And I want your opinion about this. Atalanta just ended a 5-game winless record that extended for over a month. That was their first victory. So in a way, Olympiacos resurrected them, maybe.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to affect the second leg? Like, do they have confidence now? Are they back to their best? Or does that count for shit, basically?
Depends what happens this weekend with their league game, right? If Atalanta comes out in this weekend in their league game, and
who are they playing?
I can look that up. I have no idea off the top of my head. But if they come out and it doesn't matter who it is,
Fiorentina on Thursday,
who knocked them out of the Coppa Italia,
right? So if they come out and slap. If they come out and slap Fiorentina, right? Or what did my coach used to say? Skull drag them. Then we have...
That's like a WWE move right there. Skull drag? That sounds real bad.
Yeah. Finisher!
Then we're in trouble. Like if they come out and they are flying this weekend, oh, my friend, I've got no hope going in, at the Karaiskakis, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
Not a full Karaiskakis, like it's 15,000 people. You know what I mean? Like if it was full Karaiskakis, like 33,000, hot atmosphere, tifo, like people. You know what I mean? Like I think we could do it, but 15,000 people, like I don't know. The title of this video is like, can Olympiacos do it? Like, can they do it? Yeah. Is it likely?
No. We knew that from the draw. I mean,
right.
We knew it from the draw.
Atalanta were probably the toughest team Olympiacos could have drawn from that group of potential opponents. We knew it.
Atalanta, I think, after tonight is almost like a shark with blood in the water. They're like, we have these guys. Like, we figured it out. Like, Martins threw out this weird, wacky lineup with Onyekuru and blah, blah, blah. But, like, we got them. Like, we know their limits. You know what I mean? I felt like they were just, like, a shark, when someone's, like, injured in the water, and they were just, like, kind of just going around and testing them, like, hitting them with, like, a shark hitting them to test, like, oh, how much can this person resist before they just finish you? You know what I mean? Like, I think they were just testing us. I really do believe that. I don't know if that reference, maybe it's the Hawaii me coming out, but like that's like something I could just feel. Like it's this team that was just like, like, let me figure this out. Like, how alive is this person before I go in and kill them? I don't know. I just feel they're like a killer team.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially second half, man. I got that feeling also. Like first 5-10 minutes, that's what it felt like. It's like
Yeah.
the further back we stayed, the more they're like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? I agree with that 100%. But
Yeah.
what do you make of this question here from Lex? Henry as wingback, kind of like Versailles.
Fuck no. Just like I cannot like what I will tell you, like all these people like Onyekuru fraud, like Onyekuru, whatever this means out. Like I will say something like we hate him. He's not very good. He wasn't worth the 5 million. But if Olympiacos goes through next week, Henry Onyekuru will play a role. You heard it again here. Like I'm telling you, those runs and one of these fucking goals will go in. Like he hasn't scored since freaking July, August. He has to score at some point. Like surely he has to score. Like I don't know. We'll see.
That wasn't his worst game. That was actually one of his better games.
Yes,
Yeah,
the first half was fantastic.
First
from Henry,
half too,
except for
yeah.
the missed chance. Like,
yeah,
okay. Also,
No, they don't
also I
have a
see this,
loser's
but like,
mentality.
it's not a loser's mentality. It's just reality a bit. Does that make sense? Like, it's like
No, if you want to see a
teams in Italy
loser's
park the bus
mentality,
against this team, Atalanta. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not
no,
like
actually they have adapted over there. That's what we're talking about with Georgios, that the
Yeah.
Atalanta have basically forced the end of Catenaccio in Italy because you have to adapt in a different manner
Yeah.
with them. But if you want to see a club with a loser's mentality, well, you can see some other Greek teams playing in Europe. Olympiacos do not have a loser's mentality, but they're still working on their European identity, and that's something that takes a long time to forge, especially if you're not in the top 5 leagues in the world.
It's
Right.
difficult. It's so difficult. And tonight was good. Like I really like wasn't great, but Olympiacos has hope. You
Of
know,
course.
the longtime listeners will know this is my favorite thing. Do you have hope? Olympiacos just went to Bergamo and survived. Let's say that they got scraped, but they survived, and they have hope. They're coming back to Greece, and they have hope, and they have Olympiacos fans with them. 50% of the stadium. I know it's not ideal. Like we can cry about this, but Olympiacos is looking down the probability that they are only 1 goal down in the Karaiskakis, 1 goal, and it's 0-0, and it's all to play for. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
coming into this tie, that's all you're asking for. You want a chance in the Karaiskakis. That's what you want, right? This is Olympiacos. Like, this is what you want. Like, whatever the fuck happened tonight, who gives a shit? If it was 3 or 4-1, we're fucked. We're crying on here. Shit went bad. We have a chance. That's the most important thing. And that's all. The only thing Olympiacos fans should really take from tonight. Olympiacos held. It held, and it's going to Greece with a chance. And that's all you want. That's all you want when you're a team outside top 5 league. When you're playing a team that's in the top 4 in Italy, top 5. This is fantastic. I don't know. I enjoy watching Serie A quite a bit. It's quite a good league. So this is what we wanted coming in. Look at the previews. We said, like, fuck, let's just not get destroyed here. Like, let's hold let's hold them, you know? And we held. We freaking held. So now whatever happens in Karaiskakis, we're halfway there, you know? We did the first part. Now let's see what we can do. That's my point of view. Like, if I could sum up the night in like one paragraph, that's it. Like, we held. Henry shit, blah 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 shit, blah 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 shit. But Olympiacos has a chance next week in the Karaiskakis with 50% supporters. But okay, 50% supporters Olympiacos is like a full Tottenham Hotspur stadium. So what does that say? So
I think
we'll see.
Looking for Man City there. I'm
Man
a lot more
City,
hopeful.
whatever. Yeah,
I'm a lot more hopeful actually than I was before tonight's match. I'm a lot more hopeful right now. And Atalanta also exposed some weaknesses. They can be caught in the counterattack. They do leave
the center backs
behind.
go too forward.
Center
Sometimes
backs
they're
are
too.
really bad on the ball. And Olympiacos have managed to find a way to press them without leaving space behind. And they can also create the offside trap. That's something we didn't discuss. Olympiacos managed to create some really good offside traps. And it showed with that goal in the first half that didn't count. And that was crucial because if that goal had gone in just before halftime, they'd be coming in with a lot of confidence, and the Kiwi Stadium would have been boiling.
Yeah.
That was
Olympiacos
crucial.
did what they couldn't do in Frankfurt. They held. If Olympiacos didn't concede in Frankfurt right before halftime, would it have been different? I think it would have. But
Probably.
Probably.
That's why they lost in Frankfurt. Exactly. Very good, Labro.
Yeah.
That's why they lost.
I
And they
said
didn't
it at
hold
halftime.
on in Karaiskakis.
I remember I went up because Costa was sitting above me in Frankfurt. I was with my friends from here, and I went up to him and I said, "The game's over. That goal we conceded at halftime's it. That's the killer." And Costa was like, "Yeah, I agree." I remember it very clearly because it was just we were like, "Hold!" Like Olympiacos fans were willing the team like, "Hold, get to halftime!" Like, and they didn't. And you saw the players, and they were just walking off like this. You know what I mean? Like you
Yep.
knew it was over at that point. You were like. So when they got to halftime and I ruled that goal offside, I said, okay, we can hold this to respect. And the thing when I say hold this, I didn't think we were going to win at halftime. I thought we were going to lose probably, but I was like, just keep it within one goal. And that's what we did. And
Right.
we're
That's
good
a
to go.
rule. Never concede before halftime. If you're close to halftime, don't concede.
It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst.
That's the rule.
Exactly. And look,
Yeah.
in the end, like I said, in the end, I think most of us expected this result, but deep down, we just wanted it to stay close because that was the only way we were going to have a chance in hell when we came back to Greece to finish this thing out. This team, we have to say, this team does, and under Martins, have an interesting identity when it comes to like second leg revitalizations. It doesn't always mean we win, you know, we don't always win the tie, but we always come back and do something.
In the Karaiskakis with Arsenal and came back like
yeah.
The Olympiacos of Martins can sometimes not be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in the world, but
this
it
season
has something where you're like, oh my god, this team's not gonna die. Like I'm not happy like with Martins' decision making, but I have a feeling like with the Olympiacos of Martins, like this team's never dead, you know? Like I never feel like this team is
never ruled out.
Right.
Exactly.
Here's an interesting question from Platon Papas. I don't know if you guys talked about it before I came in, but can you comment on Manolas's appearance today?
Fantastic. Socrates, Cisse, Manolas, fantastic tonight. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
I wanted to remind everybody also, don't forget, against Ike, Manolas had an injury. He was nursing an injury that he sustained in warm-up. So, and as far as I know, like that didn't just go away. He was like treating it, but that's still something that he was carrying into this game today. So just something to remember there, guys. So Manolas also has been dealing with an injury that he has had this week. So all in all, like, look, we can complain about the set piece.
Adi, this leads me to a good point. Pedro Martins cannot make the mistake that he made, I think, last season, and play Manolas or Socrates or Cisse against Volos.
Yeah.
Do you remember last season? Maybe it was before the first leg in Arsenal. He played Socrates injured, and we didn't have a single center back in the game with Arsenal. Just please don't risk it this weekend away at Volos. Like, and we know how Volos is as a team. Like, just don't risk it. You know what I mean? Like, we want to see Olympiacos give it a go on Thursday, and we need to be full strength to do that. I hope Manolas rests. I hope Socrates rests, and let's give it a go. That's really all I've got to say for the rest of the night. You know, that's it. Let's give it a go next week.
Exactly.
Job done. Let's do it next week. That's it.
Yep. I hear you. Oh, we have Dimitris Kravaris came back. I'll take a quick step back, guys. If you remember that mentality discussion we had, there was a comment from Dimitris Kravaris that started that with, he said, we have such a loser's club mentality. I pray that we don't score early because after a goal, we park the bus and lose. And then we had our discussion, and he follows it up with, but wait, when the score was 0-0, we pressed, made good runs forward. After the goal, Tiquinho was alone. So I think that what he means by loser mentality is that we were a goal up and then sat back afterwards. You know, we stopped playing with the tempo that we had, and we sat back and invited pressure and lost. So I think that's what he meant by loser's mentality. I didn't like that fact either. I think that was the goal from Martins, but this team can't keep up a press also for 90 minutes. If Ernesto Valverde couldn't have a team keep up a press for 80, 90 minutes, there's no way Martins can do it. But look, either way, I don't like that we sit back when we go up a 1-goal lead or even a 2-goal lead. I don't like that. We need to try and maintain the tempo as much as we can. But we do have to be a little bit realistic about what we can and cannot do with this team. And we know this team has limits. We're playing within the limits.
This team can barely win 1-0 with Ionios Atromitos. Like,
Yeah.
what are we saying? Like, Olympiacos gonna go to Italy and play Real Madrid, whatever. Like, when it can't go on the weekend and can barely beat AEK. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's be serious. Like, we just got the result we needed. We got the result we needed. 1 goal. That's it. We go to Karaiskakis. We have hope. That's it. Like, this team has been shit all season. Like, what more do we expect? Olympiacos to go to Bergamo and do the miracle and blah, blah, blah. This team has been shit all season. Like, what do we expect?
Not shit.
Underwhelming. Let me say that. Underwhelming.
They're still undefeated, which says a lot about the Greek league.
Oh my God, it says a lot about Greek football. And you know what is something I brought it up. Like, you watch PAOK at 6:45 today play with Midtjylland, whatever, and it's like, fuck, this team passes slower than Sunday League. Like, it's like, oop, they're just passing the ball to have the ball. It's like, oop. And that was like such Greek football right there. It's just like,
yep,
we're just passing the ball because we have the ball. Like, oh my God. And this guy's gonna be waiting for pizza all night, Costa. That's it. You disrespected the lady in the interview. She told you, man, don't rush her on a prediction. You rushed her for the 3-2, man. Come on. If you guys haven't seen the video of Costa interviewing the restaurant lady who was on Copa 90, the famous lady. Now he's cursed. His pizza is never coming. They you know what they did with the pizza?
A little late for pizza.
No, it's only 1:30 in the morning. It's perfect time for pizza.
Never too late. Never too late for pizza.
Yeah. But
Platon Papas here. Am I the only one seeing it, or is there a fitness stamina problem with most of our players?
We brought this up, man.
No,
like,
There is one from the beginning of the season, guys.
Yeah. You go play Atromitos and then you go play Atalanta. Are you serious? Is this real?
Yeah.
But
do we?
Yeah.
Here, do we do this? Do we wrap it up? Man of the match.
Let's just wrap it up, guys.
Let's do it, guys. Let's do it.
All right, Costa, go first.
I'm going first. Excellent.
Unless you want me to go first, it's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with.
No, I'll go for it. Man of the match. That is actually quite a difficult. That is quite a difficult grade because Tiquinho kind of disappeared after a little while.
Yep.
I thought that Gibu Kamara was very vibrant, both on his attacking and his defensive duties, because he was linking up with Envila in central midfield, and that's something we don't often see from him. But the defense was also, well, with the exception of the set pieces, they were really good. So I'm somewhere between Agibu, Manolas, and Papsise, who was very clinical in his defending. I think I'm going to go. Who am I going to go with? I don't even know who I'm going to go with. I'm just going to go with Manolas. I feel like he put together a solid performance. Without him, it would have been much worse. The spaces, the marking, the physicality wouldn't have been there. I feel like he kept some key players quiet. He won some very important challenges. So I'm going to go with Manolas. As for coach's grade, he didn't win. That's why he's not going to be in the A. But I'm giving him a B+ because he played against a much more superior team. Kept them completely quiet, kept them very quiet on open play, and conceded through 2 set pieces that he shouldn't have. I'm going to give him a B+ because not a bad result against a much superior team that took Manchester United to the holy limit and just missed the Champions League qualification, the last 16 by this much. So yeah, B+.
Yeah, I think I have to give it to Kostas Manolas. I was thinking while watching tonight, like, how different would tonight have been if Ruben Semedo was playing in that position, like, instead of Manolas? And I was just like, huge. Like, the mistakes, the stupid child mistakes, like, Manolas was epic tonight. I thought the same thing with Socrates. Like, this was I was thinking, watching Cisse, Manolas, and Socrates, like, wow, this is fantastic back three. Like, this is so good in Europe. These sort of players, I thoroughly enjoyed them all night. But I would give it to Manolas because I was really impressed. I thought he was fantastic tonight. I also think Jan and Villa did a lot of dirty work tonight that I don't think a lot of people were writing about. Like, I think people were talking about his fitness. Is he up to it? And I fucking think he passed the test. And I'll say something. I think Jan and Villa could play in a lot of big European teams. I still think he has it. I really do. I think he's a fantastic player. But coach is great. He's going to be in the B range for me, but I'm going to go lower B. I'm going to go B minus. And it's only because I think we all saw Gasperini saw the first half and said, okay, Olympiacos surprised me. Like, they did something different. Like, I need to change the system. And he reacted and he made the 2 subs. And I do think Muriel may have been a knock, but I don't know. Anyway, he changes things slightly, and Cooper Myers, fantastic player as well. And Atalanta comes out and plays fantastic. And Pedro Martins didn't react. I got a message from one of my friends and said, is Martins sleeping tonight? Like, at around 55th minute, he said, we need the change now. And I think some of us were saying the same thing, and it's true. And it let Olympiacos down. But let's say you put in Mari Camara for Onyekuru in the 55th minute. Does that stop the corner from being scored? I don't know. I think he made mistakes, but honestly, Olympiacos lost by 1 goal in Bergamo with one of the worst Olympiacos teams I've seen in like 4 years. So what? I'm going to say give him an F? Like, I don't know, guys. Like, and you guys have all read my article about Pedro Martins and the state of Olympiacos at the moment. Like, I'm not the big cheerleader, but come on, this is a fantastic result. So B minus, I think, is fair for Martins tonight. The game plan worked in the first half. He got it right. You have to say he got it right. But
yeah. No, I agree with that. Man of the match for me also. I want to give a shout to a midfield combo that I did not have high expectations from. When I saw that we were doing 3-4-3 with Agibu and Jan and Villa, I was like, what in God's name is this? This is going to be porous. We have Swiss cheese coming. But no, they kept it tight, especially in the first half. They did some good things and they moved the ball well around. So I'm going to give them a shout. But also, yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of those games where our defense really stuck out, kept things tight. So I will also give man of the match to Manola as well. I thought he did some great things. We've all pointed out the set piece issues that we had today, but all in all, like keeping it 2-1, guys, this team that we played against is very high tempo and can keep this thing up a lot longer than we can. So we do have to remember that. As far as coach's grade for Pedro Martins, yeah, the starting game plan worked out well, better than I expected. And we have to give that to him. I do think he reacted too slowly. I never thought we could keep pace with Atalanta the whole game. I thought we needed substitutions. He made them slow. Martins was really slow. Now, when he did make the subs, I thought he made the right ones. The problem is they were just a little bit too slow for me. So all in all, that being said, he did lose, like Costa said earlier, so that does impact the grade. He was too slow with the things, even though he did them right. So it's not going to be like a D or C for me. But again, I'll stick with, I think, a solid B. Because I think overall the game plan was there. If you were expecting us to go toe-to-toe with this Atalanta team for 90 minutes and press high for 90 minutes, it's never happening. You need to really, really, really reevaluate your expectations for Olympiacos. That's not to say that Martins did everything right, but it's just to say that, look, guys, this team is just, when it comes to competition, is on another planet than we are, especially this year. So, and when, again, I'm not saying that you should necessarily accept what we're seeing from Olympiacos this season. We're just all saying, like, this team can't be fixed right now. This is a rebuild for the summer, especially on the flanks. Costa, you already brought it up. Things need to be done, especially on the fullback position. Things need to change. But for what we have,
if you think about it, everything could change this summer.
Yeah,
Henry is probably gone. Lopez is off on loan.
Cisse,
Yorgos
Madi,
Masouras is linked
Agibou.
with moves abroad too, like if I remember correctly. But let's say
Yeah.
Masouras stays. What that leaves you with 39-year-old Mathieu Valbuena and Rusai.
Gary Rodriguez is there as well, but
Gary Rodriguez,
Cisse and Agibou are linked with the Premier League, as per my
Exactly.
sources. Madi will be
Olympiacos.
linked soon.
Olympiacos is gonna need to do it. I just think this is the best Olympiacos has to offer this season. Can they do it? Costa's right in here. We're gonna need a miracle. I've seen Olympiacos do crazier things in my life, so and I see we Italians are still joining us. Thank you to our Italian. I don't know if they're not really fans, but thank you for dropping by. Qualification still open. Atalanta has all the strikers injured. See you guys next week. Forza Atalanta. I would say, I think Muriel is injured. I looked at Twitter and there's talk that Muriel is in a bad condition, may not travel next week, but that's like early prognosis. So if Muriel does not travel, that's left with Boga, Jeremín Boga, but he's not a striker. Like he played there tonight, but
Yeah, but Olympiacos
very
have to
interesting.
score. Olympiacos have to score, though.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. But anywho, you know what? That's next week.
Finally, to shout out, if anyone knows how to get a ticket next week, hit us in the DMs because I'm looking for a ticket for the Atalanta game. So if anyone can slide me a ticket to the Atalanta game, you know, Gate 7 International will give you a shout out on the pod. There you go. That's all we can offer, but there you go.
Guys, as we sit here and we get ready to close up, please don't forget, if you haven't done it already, to like and subscribe. Hit the button. Follow us on social media. Help us grow this Olympiacos community. It continues to get bigger and bigger daily. We get people checking in with us literally all over the world. We love it. It's fantastic. A lot of people also trying to find out where they can meet other Olympiacos fans. So this is what we wanted from this. We want to connect people trying to figure out how to get tickets to the game. They DM us all the time about it. Guys, if you are one of those people, remember, sign up with your local fan club. That's the best way you can get tickets for some of these away games. And send us messages too. You want to find other Olympiacos fans in your area? We've met plenty of them. We can connect you with everybody that we've met so far. We've all the different zip codes now. We have Olympiacos fans. So please hit us up. Please like, please subscribe, please follow us, and help please grow this community. Guys, I don't know if you have anything else, but if you do, say now.
Let me hit it real quick. Costa did do a match vlog, so we're getting the behind the scenes in Bergamo this Sunday. We hope it comes out. Peter, the editor, let's go Birdman, as he's better known, will be doing the editing. He's going to kill me when I said that. But anyway, Peter will do the editing. We have match vlogs. We're going to do more previews. And thank you also again, Filippo, very nice guy. Of course, always we try to keep it.
Thank you for joining us, Filippo.
Thank you for joining us, and always enjoy having opposing fans who are not PAOK fans in the comment section.
Relax.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we'll just end on that note. Thank you everyone for listening so far. This is Gate 7 International, your number one source for Olympiacos in English. And we'll be catching you real soon. Match vlog on Sunday, previews to come out next week. Please like and subscribe like always. Donate if you want. That's a thing now. Please do that. Anyway, have a good night, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
You just listened to an episode of the Gate 7 International Podcast, a podcast connecting Olympiacos fans from Brussels to Tokyo, from Toronto to Geneva. We are 4 Olympiacos fans from every corner of the world, bringing you news and interviews of the team you love in English. With new episodes twice a week, you will never miss out on the latest updates and stories of the team you love. If you liked what you heard, make sure to follow us on social media at Gate7INTL, give us a subscribe on YouTube, or even leave a review on all our podcast channels. Until next time, this is our team, our city and our story. Θρύλος είσαι, στο μυαλό κάτι μαγικό.